It has been a long triple header filled with high and low lights. However, we aren't going to be here for much longer since Spain is the host of the final race in this triple header. Speaking of finals, this is also the circuit final race here before we head to the dreaded Mad Ring for 2026. And judging by early runnings of the track, oh boy. Anyways, there's no point in dreading the future. All we can do is appreciate the past and present, so let us look forward to this weekend. Now, despite all the sympathies people have for this historic track, let's not beat around the bush, people. This track stinks. Like on paper, you will look at the layout and not have an issue, but then you see the racing and it becomes clear the track is dirty air galore. Cars are hard to follow and in turn overtake, so what ends up happening is us waking up at an early time and then falling asleep again, or for all my Europeans, taking a nice midday nap. But I don't care, at least it's authentic. I don't want to make it sound like this track is super bad. There have been stellar moments here, such as last year with Georgia's turn 1 overtake, Osama bin Russell over Taliban fighting briefly in 2022, Ferrari exploding in 2020, and classic moments such as Michael's generational win in 1996. So while the track may not be the best for racing, it is capable of shining here and there, and all we need is a field tighter than your mom so we could get lovely competitive racing. And what's that? There's new directives that can make the field tighter? Oh yes, there is, but let's not get carried away just yet. Let us make a preview to the weekend and list and speculate any potential upgrades coming for the teams, the drama and stories from the weekend prior, the ones to keep an eye on for, and of course, my weekend predictions that are not just made randomly. So go join the Discord to experience the weekend live and subscribe if you're new if you love tourism. So enough yapping, and here is the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix weekend preview.
See those clouds up in the corner? That's where the rain is coming from.
As always, people, the listing of upgrades is the first bidding in order, and considering this is the last race of the triple header, you wouldn't expect some upgrades for the teams going forward. However, there could be a twist to this. There are new directives here which could massively shake up the order with every team trying to adapt to them. So I would say expect upgrades for every team, but don't be mad at me if I'm wrong, since I'm just a guy in his bedroom and not an engineer. And remember, this is like 90% speculation and rumors anyways, so it's only made for you to get a general idea of who could be more competitive than usual here. Anyways, let us begin with Sauber, who have been on an aggressive development plan that seems to be working. Almost every single week they have brought some sort of upgrade, big or small, and it has paid off well, it seems. Granted, they're not exactly qualifying or finishing in the top 10, however, they are getting closer and closer, and it does coincidentally line up with Wheatley's entrance into the team, so things seem to be looking somewhat up. Plus, not to mention, Gabby has been showing good consistency lately before getting screwed with bad luck. So yeah, man, I'm actually optimistic for this team for once. Next is Racing Bulls, and judging by their good weekend last week in Monaco, I suspect some nice upgrades could flow in. VCAR were doing pretty nice last week, and with the benefit that Monaco is anti-overtaking, they got some nice points finally, so hopefully Spain can continue that. I don't really have much to say about them since they're kind of in a gray area right now when it comes to competitiveness, so let us see how Minardi moves going forward. Next is Aston Martin, and with them finally seeming to be good again, Spain is the perfect place to go even further. The new directives can close this pack up nicely, and now is the best time to capitalize. Now, I don't know if Newey has already begun work on the car, but if he has, it really explains where these upgrades came from. I mean, just earlier this month, I was saying how this team is washed and how they are frauds, but alas, here I am praising them. Maybe it's just this aura that shot the team up, but whatever it was, we need more of that since it's always lovely to see Fernando doing good. Till his engine blows at least. Lance Stroll is here too, I guess. Next is Williams, who are in a similar situation to Aston. I mean, not performance-wise, but in situation-wise. Williams have already sniffed the top 5 on multiple occasions, so just imagine if they adapt well to the new directive and take space from teams who maybe were caught out. Maybe this is Williams solidifying their place as upper midfield runners for every single track. This could be huge for them, but of course, there is the problem of, 9 other teams on the grid who could do the same. So I say hold your breath, Williams fans. It's looking good, but I have to wait. Oh, and by the way, if they don't bring upgrades here at all, then for sure expect some for Canada, since Williams always bode well around Montreal. Now for the top dogs, and I have Ferrari. Look, last week was better and all, but right here, we need to get it right. These directives could be the perfect moment for us to finally show our hand and take us to the top spot or near enough. As much as I've slandered Fred recently, man, I still have hope since every good manager eventually goes through a slump with doubt from their fans, so I'm hoping this is the end of it. Monaco saw that both Charles and Lewis still have that fire in them to perform well, and the only thing truly holding us back is the car. And just imagine McLaren v Verstappen v Ferrari v Mercedes every single week or close enough. It would be pure eye porn, man. Please, Fred, I'm begging. These big upgrades better work, or else I'm retiring and covering IndyCar from now on. Next is Mercedes, and I'll keep this one short since I don't believe they are too different from Ferrari. They also have some big upgrades coming, and I'm begging that they do improve for entertainment's sake. They clearly need the boost right now, so let us hope for the best with them since I just cannot stand seeing Kimi or George struggle this much anymore. Next is Red Bull, who have been secretly bringing upgrades after upgrades in this triple header in anticipation for this race here. Red Bull started off poor, however, throughout the season, they have climbed to be the second fastest on most occasions and with Max a front runner. So again, with these damn directives, Red Bull could take the leap they need to not only put Max ahead of them, but their car ahead of them, which in turn takes Max further ahead of them. This will be critical for them, so let us see what they got. And finally is McLaren. Oh what, you thought just because McLaren were going to get affected by the directives, they would do nothing about them? Hell no. I would imagine they have been prepping upgrades for their car, so whatever time they're about to lose here will be made up for, if not exceeded. That is the way of McLaren. Right when there is hope for something good and juicy, bring an upgrade and ruin the vibes immediately. But yeah, McLaren have been cooking on upgrades, so don't expect this weekend to see them all of a sudden super slower and essentially make the sharp end of the grid an equal car competition at the very least. Now for the drama from the weekend, and I of course have the juicy Spain directives this week. So in case you've been out of the loop, there are new technical directives being introduced in Spain with the aim of finally getting rid of the flexi wing. The flexi wing, by the way, is the process of the front and or rear wing flexing downwards or upwards in order to get better traction or better straight line speed while driving. Anyways, this is something that many fans of the sport have cited to be why teams like McLaren are so good. I mean, there's little evidence. So with the FIA finally putting a stop to this, many fans think that McLaren will fall off in pace and we could finally have a proper fight. Now, I'll be real, chat. I don't think this is going to do shit since, yeah, McLaren have benefited from the wing. However, you have to be an idiot to think that they are this good because of one part. It's clear McLaren's engineering team are just goated, and even if they do fall because of the directive, they'll likely just bring in new parts that reestablish their lead. It's high time we put down the McLaren hatred and start accepting the fact that they are the best right now and there is nothing we could do about it other than seem like salty butthurt losers. However, that's not stopping me from praying the directors do actually kill McLaren. Next up, I have the inconsistent stewards again. You know, I should really start keeping count how many times this happens this year. So in practice, a red flag came out for something, and when the red flag comes out, all cars must halt and not overtake and drive slowly to the pit lane. And of course, the drivers aren't idiots, so they follow that instruction. However, it does catch Ollie Behrman out, who does overtake a car before pitting. He is coming super fast out of the corner, and the car ahead is going super slow, so I would say this is a nothing incident. However, race control, being the dummies they are, hand Ollie a mighty 10 place grid penalty for the race and essentially ruins his week right there. There was outrage for this, to say the least, since I'm not crazy. What was he supposed to do there? Do they want him to do the braking exploit from GTA? Like, seriously, guys. Anyways, that wouldn't even be it, since in the qualifying, Lewis gets a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Max, which, fair play, but in Miami, a similar thing happened with Max where he wasn't penalized for near identical incidents. So why, guys? Why must you be inconsistent? At this point, I'm convinced they do this on purpose with the intent of getting us talking to build up hype for these races. Interesting tactics, but go off, I guess. Finally, I have the F1 movie reactions. This is a short one since I did cover it in the previous video, however, I still find this funny. So with the F1 movie a week away, the F1 drivers were of course invited to a private early screening of the film, and it's safe to say, I don't think they liked it. I mean, obviously, the movie is kind of an exaggeration of what the sport is, but still, it is worrying. Kimi said the film was too long before giving a somewhat acceptable compliment. Carlos said in an interview it wasn't for him. Max and Lance didn't even show up to the damn thing. I mean, yeah, I don't think the film is too good. However, I don't care, man. Yeah, the film may be ass, but come on, it has cool shots and it's about racing at the end of the day. I'm still gonna be seated and I will have as much fun as I can. Now for the ones you should keep an eye on for, and this weekend, I say keep your eye on Williams. Depending on how these directives go, Williams could either be in for a lot or nothing. Personally, again, I'm of the nothing ever happens sort, but stranger things have happened here, so I'm also holding a bit of optimism for the Williams team. Alrighty, so with everything now out of the way, it is predictions times for the Spain weekend. As always, it must be said that we will predict 3 things: the top 5 in the quali, the top 5 in the race, and a random prediction from any session. It should also be noted that these predictions are based on nothing but pure vibes, so bear with me. No sprints this weekend, so let us begin with quali predictions, and I predict that the top 5 on Saturday, starting with 5th, will be Lewis Hamilton, 4th will be Carlos Sainz, 3rd will be Lando Norris, and 2nd will be Oscar Piastri, and for pole position, I have Max Verstappen by 0.03 of a second. Now for the race predictions, and starting with 5th, I have Charles Leclerc, and 4th, I have Carlos Sainz, and 3rd, I have Oscar Piastri, and 2nd, I have Lando Norris, and the winner of the Spanish Grand Prix is Max Verstappen, who will cook masterfully here. Time for my random prediction, and I think in the qualifying, Q2 will end suddenly thanks to somebody crashing at the final sector and bringing out a red flag. Also, make sure to join my Discord to make your predictions for the weekend and have a chance to appear in the winners and losers. So that was my weekend preview for the Spanish Grand Prix. I am expecting a weekend of good and fun racing thanks to things like the directives and upgrades. However, considering the track is pretty sucky, I won't be surprised if this race ends up being a nothing burger. But on the bright side, Imola was a nothing track, yet we had a fantastic race there, so there is always hope. But yeah, it's gonna suck that this track will leave for another shitty street track, but if it's any consolation, other motorsport series are taking right direction, so go enjoy those instead. Anyways, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the vlog for their continued support, and make sure to join it if you want cool benefits, as well as just helping me out. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe since it really helps me out, and make sure to let me know in the comments what your predictions are. And as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.